What's going on, guys? This motherload of comic book movie news is insane! Marvel just unleashed Phase 3 on us, and we are reveling in it, and we have an awesome panel here to break it down. First, you know them from the Schmoes Know. Check them out on YouTube and AMC Movie Talk. Christian Harloff.
Listen, I don't care what division it is, Marvel, DC, this is an awesome time to be a comic book movie fan.
He is an actor, comedian, friend of the show, Mike Carlson.
Hi, Hal, I am psyched!
And he is one of the creators of the awesome Comics and Comics, Sax Carr.
You know, I'm going to take you one step further, Christian. I think the Marvel movies are actually a good time to be a movie fan.
So I want to start off real quick. Mike and Christian, you were both at the event yesterday. You saw it all go down. What was it like in there?
It was like Hall H. You were at Comic-Con, and we were just like, we were cheering like 2 words, Doctor Strange. We'd be like, yes, yes. We know, I knew that was happening, but that doesn't matter because I'm so excited to be in this room right now.
So let's talk about this slate. So first, kicking it off, a movie that we expected, Captain America: Civil War.
First, they showed a scene. Joss Whedon was in the audience, and they brought a scene from the Avengers, and there was a scene between Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., and it was a scene in the Avengers: Age of Ultron, where they're having this kind of back and forth, and they're already not agreeing on stuff. And you see, and as I'm watching it, I'm going, they're showing this for a reason. And who comes on the stage? Downey and Evans. It was awesome, the back and forth, and that entire video is on Schmoes Know if you want to see it.
So next chronologically comes Doctor Strange. Hasn't appeared in a movie yet, is getting his own solo movie. Tell us a little bit about Doctor Strange.
Well, he was an arrogant surgeon who only cared about money, and then he was
Like
in
House?
Yes, he was a lot like House.
Essentially,
but,
it's House.
Yeah.
Yes, and he had an injury like House, and then he went and found the Ancient One, and he gave him all these sort of mystical powers and taught him the ways.
He basically, he freaks out because he breaks his hands in a car accident, and he goes to any possible cure he can get. So, one of the, crazy crackpot cures is he goes to this guy called the Ancient One, and he's like, oh, fix my hands. And he's really magical, and he teaches him real magic, and he becomes the Sorcerer Supreme.
Strange was name-dropped in Winter Soldier.
Bruce Banner, Stephen Strange, anyone who's a threat.
Do we know, is this Doctor Strange movie going to be an origin story?
I would assume it's going to be, especially from what I hear Kevin Feige say yesterday, because it's not a property that non-comic book fans really know.
I think I read a report that said they're not doing origin stories for these next movies.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong about it, but I think they said they were just going to start.
It's a variable then. But I guess part of the reason, though, they had to introduce, they got to get Strange out there, they got to get Black Panther out there, which we'll touch on in a moment, is they need more characters to go at it in Civil War. You can't just use the handful that we have already.
But they also have to go past, because the question is, and we'll get to how Phase 3 is going to end, because it's got to end dramatically and big, and then Marvel's not going to stop making movies, so the question is going to be, where do you go after Phase 3? And in order to do that, you have to build characters. And if you're building Black Panther or Captain Marvel, who we'll talk about soon, and all these characters, eventually the Tony Starks and Rogers, they're all going to have to either split off, or someone's going to die. Something's got to happen, because otherwise it gets boring and repetitive, and we need new Avengers and new teams. So this makes sense to introduce new people.
Okay, so next chronologically comes Guardians 2. They killed it with Guardians, the biggest surprise money train of the summer.
And the entire creative team is back for the next one, if I remember correctly.
I believe so, yeah.
Which it should deliver again, hopefully.
The next Thor movie was dropped yesterday, Thor Ragnarok. What's Ragnarok?
It's like the end of all things.
Means apocalypse, right?
Yeah. It's taken directly from the actual myths. Loki initiates the apocalypse for the Asgardians, and it pulls everything into it.
Gotcha. So what you're saying is we're going to see some more Loki.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Lots of
they
Loki.
said it.
Loki gets bigger applause than Thor does. People
Not
love that
surprised.
Tom
rock star.
Hiddleston.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
a rock star.
This will probably reset Thor too. From what he said, it makes me feel like they're going to do. Thor's had a number of different incarnations where he's been sort of connected to and not connected to Asgard. This may see Thor stuck on Earth, possibly with a limited power set or something. Basically, though, we're going to get a different Thor when it's done that will be relevant to the final films, to the Infinity War.
Next, Black Panther. Very cool that we're getting a superhero of color in this new phase. Tell me a little bit about Black Panther and his origins.
We're probably going to see a different origin here because the original Black Panther is the king of an African nation, and it has super science technology. It seems like now Wakanda is going to be a secret country, or some sort of, very isolated enclave. And the key connection there is that Wakanda is where vibranium comes from, which is where what's Cap Shield is made of, and is probably what Ultron is going to be made of. That probably draws us to to Wakanda, which is why it's there. But he's a fighting king.
Yeah, and at the event, the actor playing him was introduced, Chadwick Boseman.
If you have not seen him in Get On Up, okay, this dude is a serious actor and transforms himself. The guy is an up-and-coming star, and I think he's going to be forever in everyone's mind as Black Panther.
Yeah, this guy can drive a movie.
He can.
Yeah. A couple of more new characters, new groups to introduce. Captain Marvel. Tell us a little bit about Captain Marvel.
Carol Danvers used to be Ms. Marvel, and in the comics, that's the person that Rogue got her flying and her super strength from because she touched her for too long.
Okay, wow.
And Carol Danvers takes her powers and her name from Captain Marvel, who is a Kree superhero that basically they're in the same cave at the same time and some device explodes called the psychomagnetron, and it basically joins their DNA, so she gains all of his powers. But I don't think that original Captain Marvel is going to exist. So she'll probably get her powers a different way. But she will be, and he said this on stage, the most powerful character in the Marvel Universe.
Right.
It's the Superman equivalent character.
Any thoughts on how we think she's going to be infused into the universe?
In the comics right now, she's like on like very space-centric adventures. She hangs out with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
So I mean, there's a second movie coming up. There's a decent chance maybe she wants to, mix it up with them.
Next up, the group that I was least familiar with in the announcements, the Inhumans.
It's been teased for a while. Another
yeah.
one that's been teased and rumored, and Vin Diesel was teasing it for a bit, and everyone was teasing it. I know nothing about these people.
The Inhumans are an offshoot of humanity that was created by the Kree. The cool thing about them is that because they've been like sort of genetically engineered, they can subject themselves to this they call it the Tydirian mist, and it gives them all a power. They're born as regular human, and then like on your 18th birthday or whatever, you go into the Tydirian mist and you gain superpowers. And then once you do, you fall into their society in a specific role.
How do we see them fitting into
I have no idea.
In the comics, they just had a bunch of new Inhumans start to appear. So I feel like we could have some sort of an event that all of a sudden turns everybody into an Inhuman. Not everybody, some people into Inhumans, but we could have a ton of them.
Let's talk about the mega Infinity War. So we have seen throughout the movies how powerful these individual Infinity Stones are. Mike, tell me a little bit about the power that the Infinity Gauntlet possesses.
How can I tell you about all the power ever?
Thanos gets this, essentially it's a glove, and
it's the Power Glove. It's the NES Power Glove.
Yeah, it's an NES Power Glove.
He sews some rocks into it.
So he becomes godlike, right?
Well, you're ready. I mean, even when you watch Guardians of the Galaxy, I love Thanos just for when Ronan's yelling at him and he just kind of like smirks at him. I was like, all right, go see what you can do. You're probably going to get blown up. Oh, you did. And so it's just he just has this thing about him.
Now, do we think it's going to be a cliffhanger, or do we think it's going to be too standalone?
Here's the thing that I made up in my head last night that I want it to be.
Yeah, let's hear your theory.
I want it to end, obviously, on a down note. Thanos has just got his boot around their throats.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel has to do something in space that will help the fight. So that spins out into another movie. She goes and does something, then comes back to Earth. Inhumans also, there's something going on that they have to take care of. Then it could be like a day. Then we're like back to part 2. So it could be all one story. That's a theory I made up.
That's the Mike Carlson theory that's floating around the internet now. So you as a fan, let's go down the line. What are you most excited to see?
The culmination, the Avengers, the part 1 and part 2, and where we all lead up, all these great films we're going to get in the future, and then the ending of finally seeing Thanos in the gauntlet.
Yeah, Mike.
There's going to be a scene with Robert Downey Jr. and Rocket Raccoon. And they're going to be quipping at each other. They're going to be trading barbs. We're going to love it. We're going to say more. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
I had a totally different one, but now I might have to go with yours. That really is the best thing ever. But I actually think I get everything I need out of Civil War. My favorite scene in the Avengers was the Shakespeare in the Park fight where Thor and Captain America and Iron Man fought in the woods. Woo. If you make a whole movie of that, I will watch it. And that's the first of all these films. So I already win, and then the rest of it's just gravy.
What are you most excited about? What in this Marvel announcement are you just going bananas over? Let us know in the comments section below. The best comment, we are going to send you a Screen Junkies t-shirt. I want to thank you guys for dropping serious knowledge today. Christian Harloff, check him out on Schmoes Know on YouTube and AMC Movie Talk. Mike Carlson, thank you for being here again. Sax Carr, thank you for coming in and dropping major nerd knowledge. And I want to thank you for watching Screen Junkies. I'm Hal Rudnick. Hit me up on Twitter. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.
It looked like this. lots of those things people remember bigger and scarier than they were. Like the opening of Twilight Zone, one of my favorite horror film openings.
Yes, sure.
You know, want to see something really scary?
Scary.